You mentioned American numismatic legends. Few coins evoke as much timeless mystique as the 1938 Liberty Buffalo 5-cent piece, the final chapter in a saga that began in 1913 and would soon become one of the most beloved and collected designs in U.S. coinage. Sculpted by James Earle Fraser, this coin captures the spirit of rugged frontier America. The dignified Native American profile on the obverse and proud, stoic buffalo on the reverse. Though the Buffalo Nickel series spans 25 years, the 1938 issues from both the Philadelphia, no mint mark, and San Francisco S mint mark. Mints are especially cherished because they represent the last year this iconic design was struck for circulation. In the world of coins, endings carry drama, and collectors around the globe revere them. Imagine holding a piece of history in your hand, a coin that passed through the pockets of railroad workers, the hands of World War II soldiers, and the cash-toting families of the bygone era. That physical connection to the past, especially with a date like 1938, the final year of Buffalo Nickels, gives this humble 5-cent piece a narrative that transcends its face value. It's not just metal stamped with images. It's a bridge to a time when America's frontier legacy still breathed in its culture and consciousness. When we talk about rarity and value, context matters. Unlike some ultra-scarce coins that genuinely trade in the high thousands or even millions, 1938 Buffalo Nickels, as a date, are not inherently among the absolute rarest in American numismatics. However, what can make a 1938 piece astonishingly valuable isn't just the date. Its condition, provenance, and uniqueness. A 1938 nickel discovered in pristine, uncirculated condition with full original luster and razor-sharp details could command a premium that boggles the mind when compared to everyday pocket change. In the right hands in the right market, an exceptional specimen can indeed command prices that elevate it far beyond its humble denomination. The Philadelphia 1938 Buffalo Nickel, bearing no mint mark, was produced in significantly larger numbers than its San Francisco counterpart. That doesn't mean it's uninteresting to collectors. Rather, it means that only the absolute finest examples, graded by expert services like PCGS or NGC at top grades like MS66, MS67 or higher, become the true treasures. To reach that level of preservation for a coin that was intended for everyday use is rare enough that serious collectors will pay handsomely. In auction rooms, whispers of seven-figure prices for coins in truly museum-worthy condition aren't just about metal. They're about legend and scarcity fused together. Turn your gaze to the 1938 S Buffalo Nickel from the San Francisco Mint, and the plot deepens. The S Mint coins generally had a lower mintage, and, even more importantly, qualified specimens with strong strike and flawless surfaces are much harder to find. A top-tier 1938 S Buffalo in pristine state can elevate any collection from admirable to extraordinary. In the world of numismatics, pieces like this are often compared to rare gems, few in number, breathtaking in appearance, and capable of capturing the imaginations of collectors worldwide. Of course, when we speak of unimaginable worth, we're talking about the extreme ends of the scale, those mythical coin specimens that make headlines when they cross auction blocks. These are the coins that could sincerely change fortunes overnight for the lucky owner. It's not hyperbole to say that, in extraordinary cases, a near-perfect 1938 Buffalo Nickel with impeccable eye appeal and verified authenticity could attract bidding that soars into the hundreds of thousands or beyond, especially if it has a storied provenance or was part of a famous collection. Yet, any seasoned collector will tell you that true value isn't just about the numbers. It's about story, context, and passion. A 1938 Buffalo Nickel may have begun its life as loose change in a shirt pocket, but in the heart of the collector, it becomes a chapter in a grander narrative. The closing chapter of design that has defined American coin collecting for generations. Holding one connects you not just to the coin itself, but to every hand that held it before. For anyone fortunate enough to possess such a coin, the first rule is don't rush to spend it at face value. Even common-date Buffalo Nickels can surprise you when properly evaluated, and those with exceptional eye appeal or rare characteristics can be worth far more than what casual observation might suggest. Have it professionally graded, documented, and if necessary, conserve to preserve its condition. These steps can mean the difference between a nice collectible and a historic treasure. Collectors and investors alike often speak of moonshots in numismatics, coins that defy expectations and fly to stunning prices. In this rarefied realm, a top-tier 1938 Buffalo nickel from either mint could indeed be a moonshot candidate. The combination of historical significance, artistic beauty, and the allure of being the last year issue makes it a constant focus of competitive bidding when outstanding specimens come to market. So if you find yourself in possession of such a piece, especially one that gleams with original detail under expert inspection, remember that you're holding more than a nickel. You're holding a piece of American heritage with potential to astonish both the heart and the imagination. Take your time, consult experienced numismatists, and let the coin reveal its story to you. Because in the world of rare coins, patience often breeds the highest rewards. 1985 from either the Philadelphia P or San Francisco S mints in the way most people imagine it. If you were picturing a small silver buffalo nickel that can make someone an overnight billionaire, that exact coin doesn't exist in U.S. mint history. The United States stopped producing buffalo nickels in 1938, and the modern bullion American buffalo coins are gold, not silver, and they only began in 2006. So if someone tells you they have a 1985 silver buffalo nickel worth millions, be very skeptical. It's either misidentified, fantasy, or possibly something else entirely. But now that we've cleared that up, let's dive into the real story that people are sometimes trying to talk about and why certain buffalo-themed coins, especially rarities and bullion issues, can be incredibly valuable. I'll take you deep into the world of coins that do capture the imagination of collectors and investors alike. First, consider the legendary Buffalo Nickel series, officially the Indian Head Nickel. These coins were struck from 1913 to 1938 and featured a Native American portrait on the obverse and an American bison on the reverse. While none of these are dated anywhere near 1985, rare and highly struck examples from the early 20th century can command six-figure prices at auction. Exceptional condition Buffalo nickels, especially with original mint luster and era characteristics, are the stuff of collector dreams. Then there are modern bullion coins like the American Buffalo Gold Bullion Coin, first released in 2006. Struck in 24-karat gold, this coin delivers one of the purest representations of gold available in U.S. coinage. Because they contain a full ounce of fine gold and are backed by the U.S. Mint, they carry value equal to the market price of gold, and sometimes more certain proof or special mint versions are scarce. Now imagine this: a rare die error, an extremely low mintage, or a coin with unique provenance, like being owned by a famous person or recovered from a historic find, can elevate a coin from being just another piece of metal to something utterly priceless in collector circles. These are the coins that can spark bidding wars, sometimes pushing values into the millions. The reason collectors are so passionate is not just about the metal or the face value. It's about history, scarcity, craftsmanship, and story. A buffalo design in pristine condition tells a story about America's past, about artistic vision, national identity, and the people who held the coin through the decades. That emotional thread is often as valuable as the precious metal itself. Now, if someone truly did come into possession of a genuine, extraordinarily rare U.S. coin that has a buffalo motif and dates that collectors have never seen before, the first thing they would do is send it off to a top grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's because certification with a perfect grade can legitimize its authenticity and unlock its true market value. Coins that are slabbed and judged as perfect by these houses often sell for prices that make headlines. But let's pull back for reality. Coins that guarantee billions overnight don't exist in normal markets. Even the rarest Buffalo nickels fetch hundreds of thousands, not billions. The idea of a single coin overnight making someone a billionaire exists in movies and fantasies, not in real numismatic auctions. At least not yet. However, here's the heart of why collectors and investors salivate over these coins. They represent a perfect confluence of art, history, rarity, and human desire. When a coin ticks all those boxes, the value, not just monetary but cultural, becomes astonishing. So if you've been told you have a 1985 silver Buffalo nickel worth millions, pause and investigate. Have a professional authenticate it. Understand its history and true age. And once you do, you'll find yourself joining a community of people who are just as captivated by what these tiny discs of metal can mean to our shared story. In the world of coins, nothing is more precious than what we believe something is worth, until proven otherwise. And in that space between belief and proof, true treasures are found. 1985 from either the Philadelphia P or San Francisco S, mints in the way most people imagine it. If you were picturing a small silver buffalo nickel that can make someone an overnight billionaire, that exact coin doesn't exist in U.S. mint history. The United States stopped producing buffalo nickels in 1938, and the modern bullion American buffalo coins are gold, not silver, and they only began in 2006. So if someone tells you they have a 1985 silver buffalo nickel worth millions, be very skeptical. It's either misidentified, fantasy, or possibly something else entirely. But now that we've cleared that up, let's dive into the real story that people are sometimes trying to talk about and why certain buffalo-themed coins, especially rarities and bullion issues, can be incredibly valuable. I'll take you deep into the world of coins that do capture the imagination of collectors and investors alike. First, consider the legendary Buffalo Nickel series, officially the Indian Head Nickel. These coins were struck from 1913 to 1938 and featured a Native American portrait on the obverse and an American bison on the reverse. While none of these are dated anywhere near 1985, rare and highly struck examples from the early 20th century can command six-figure prices at auction. Exceptional condition buffalo nickels, especially with original mint luster and era characteristics, are the stuff of collector dreams. Then there are modern bullion coins like the American Buffalo Gold Bullion Coin, first released in 2006. Struck in 24-karat gold, this coin delivers one of the purest representations of gold available in U.S. coinage. Because they contain a full ounce of fine gold and are backed by the U.S. Mint, they carry value equal to the market price of gold, and sometimes more if certain proof or special mint versions are scarce. Now imagine this. A rare die error, an extremely low mintage, or a coin with unique provenance, like being owned by a famous person or recovered from a historic find, can elevate a coin from being just another piece of metal to something utterly priceless in collector circles. These are the coins that can spark bidding wars, sometimes pushing values into the millions. The reason collectors are so passionate is not just about the metal or the face value. It's about history, scarcity, craftsmanship, and story. A buffalo design in pristine condition tells a story about America's past, about artistic vision, national identity, and the people who held the coin through the decades. That emotional thread is often as valuable as the precious metal itself. Now, if someone truly did come into possession of a genuine, extraordinarily rare U.S. coin that has a buffalo motif and dates that collectors have never seen before, the first thing they would do is send it off to a top grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's because certification with a perfect grade can legitimize its authenticity and unlock its true market value. Coins that are slabbed and judged as perfect by these houses often sell for prices that make headlines. But let's pull back for reality. Coins that guarantee billions overnight don't exist in normal markets. Even the rarest buffalo nickels fetch hundreds of thousands, not billions. The idea of a single coin overnight making someone a billionaire exists in movies and fantasies, not in real numismatic auctions. At least not yet. However, here's the heart of why collectors and investors salivate over these coins. They represent a perfect confluence of art, history, rarity, and human desire. When a coin ticks all those boxes, the value, not just monetary but cultural, becomes astonishing. So if you've been told you have a 1985 silver buffalo nickel worth millions, pause and investigate. Have a professional authenticate it. Understand its history and true age. And once you do, you'll find yourself joining a community of people who are just as captivated by what these tiny discs of metal can mean to our shared story. In the world of coins, nothing is more precious than what we believe something is worth, until proven otherwise. And in that space between belief and proof, true treasures are found. 1976. Their imagination immediately starts racing with dreams of hidden treasure, overnight fortune, and a tiny silver coin that could transform an ordinary life into extraordinary wealth. The idea that a small piece of metal could be worth millions feels like something out of a movie, but coin collecting has always been full of surprises, mysteries, and record-breaking sales that shock the world. First, it is important to understand what the 1976 dime actually is. In 1976, the United States Mint was producing the Roosevelt dime, not a Liberty design. The classic Liberty design most people remember on dimes is the Mercury Dime, officially called the Wing Liberty Head Dime, which was minted from 1916 to 1945. By 1976, that design was long gone, replaced by President Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait. That means a regular 1976 dime is not a rare Liberty silver coin. In fact, most 1976 dimes were made of copper and nickel, not silver. They were struck in huge quantities for everyday circulation, so in normal condition they are worth only face value, just 10 cents. This may sound disappointing, but it is the honest truth collectors must understand before believing claims of instant millions. However, here is where the excitement begins. In coin collecting, value is not just about the year. It is about condition, mint errors, composition, and extreme rarity. If a 1976 dime were accidentally struck on a silver planchet, or it had a dramatic mint error, such as a double strike, off-center strike, or missing clad layer, it could become highly collectible. Rare mint errors can sometimes sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on uniqueness and demand. The year 1976 was special in American history because it marked the 200th anniversary of independence. While special bicentennial designs were made for quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins, the dime kept its regular Roosevelt design. So there was no special Liberty 1976 dime released for the celebration, which makes claims of a standard 1976 Liberty silver dime being worth millions unrealistic. Now, let's talk about silver. Dimes minted before 1965 in the United States were made of 90% silver. These older silver dimes, including the Mercury and early Roosevelt dimes, carry intrinsic metal value. But by 1976, silver had already been removed from regular circulating dimes for more than a decade. So unless there was an extremely rare mint error, using leftover silver planchets, a 1976 dime would not contain silver. Could such an error exist? In theory, yes. The U.S. Mint has made rare transitional errors in other years when old metal blanks were accidentally used. If a verified 1976 dime struck on a 90% silver planchet were discovered and authenticated by a respected grading service, it could command significant attention in auctions. But even then, reaching millions would require extraordinary circumstances and intense collector competition. The coins that truly reach million-dollar status are usually legendary rarities. For example, the famous 1894 S. Barber dime is one of the rarest dimes ever made, with only a tiny number known to exist. That coin has sold for well over $1 million because of its extreme scarcity and historical importance. This shows that million-dollar dimes do exist, but they are exceptionally rare and well documented. If someone claims their 1976 Liberty dime will make them a billionaire overnight, caution is necessary. The coin market rewards knowledge, patience, and authenticity, not hype. Many viral stories exaggerate values to attract attention. A collector's true power lies in understanding grading, mint marks, and verified auction records rather than chasing unrealistic dreams. Condition plays a massive role in value. A coin graded mint state with perfect surfaces, sharp details, and nowhere can sell for far more than a circulated example. Professional grading companies authenticate coins, assign condition scores, and seal them in protective holders. Without proper authentication, even a rare coin cannot achieve top market value. Mint marks also matter. In 1976, dimes were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Proof coins from San Francisco were specially made for collectors and can have mirror-like finishes. While most 1976 proof dimes are not worth huge sums, pristine examples or unusual varieties may sell for modest premiums. The dream of finding treasure in pocket change keeps the hobby alive. Every collector secretly hopes to discover an overlooked rarity. And while a typical 1976 dime will not change your life financially, searching through coins can still be exciting, educational, and sometimes surprisingly rewarding. It is also important to protect yourself from scams. If someone promises millions for a common coin, verify the claim through reputable coin dealers or auction houses. Real high-value coins come with paperwork, certification numbers, and documented sales history. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history. Each dime tells a story of the era in which it was minted. A 1976 dime represents America's bicentennial spirit, economic conditions of the 1970s, and a continuation of the Roosevelt legacy in U.S. coinage. If you truly want a Liberty dime with strong value potential, focus on earlier series like the Mercury dimes, especially key dates and high grade. These have established demand among collectors and a clear historical identity tied to Liberty imagery. While becoming a billionaire overnight from a 1976 dime is extremely unlikely, building knowledge in numismatics can create long-term financial opportunity. Smart collectors study trends, preserve coins carefully and by quality over quantity. The power of a coin is not in exaggerated promises, but in verified rarity. A genuine, authenticated mint error or historic rarity can indeed sell for astonishing sums. But such cases are rare exceptions, not the rule. So if you own a 1976 dime, examine it carefully. Check its weight, look for unusual features, and consider professional grading if something seems truly different. But approach the process with realistic expectations. The real fortune in coin collecting often comes from patience, research, and passion, not from hype. A single small coin may not make you a billionaire overnight, but the knowledge you gain and the treasures you uncover along the way can be incredibly valuable. In the end, the 1976 dime is more a symbol of curiosity and hope than a guaranteed jackpot. And sometimes, the thrill of the hunt is worth more than the coin itself. When people hear the words Liberty One Dime, their imagination instantly fills with images of hidden treasure, secret vaults, and life-changing discoveries. The idea that a simple 1975 dime could transform an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight is the kind of story that spreads like wildfire. But before dreams run too far, it's important to understand the real history behind the 1975 Liberty dime and what truly makes a coin valuable. In 1975, the United States Mint was producing the familiar Roosevelt dime, not a Liberty-designed dime. The obverse of the coin featured President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design that had been in use since 1946. So when someone refers to a 1975 Liberty dime, they're usually talking about Roosevelt dime because the word Liberty still appears on the coin as part of the national motto and design tradition. One very important truth must be said clearly. Regular 1975 dimes are not made of silver. By that time, standard circulation dimes were composed of a copper core with nickel outer layer. The era of 90% silver dimes ended in 1964. So if you are holding a normal 1975 dime from your pocket change, it does not contain silver and is generally worth only face value, unless it is in exceptional condition. However, the year 1975 does have one legendary story attached to it. There is an extremely rare 1975 dime that was accidentally struck without the S mint mark on a proof coin. Proof coins are specially made for collectors with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. These coins were struck in San Francisco, which normally use the S mint mark. A tiny number of 1,975 proof dimes were mistakenly released without the S mint mark. This error created one of the most famous modern rarities in American coin collecting. Because so few exist, collectors are willing to pay astonishing prices for an authenticated example in perfect proof condition. One of these rare 1975 NOS proof dimes has sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. That kind of sale price fuels dramatic headlines and bold claims that the coin is worth millions. While it is true that the specific error coin can be extremely valuable, it is not a common circulation coin found in everyday pocket change. The difference between a regular 1975 dime and the rare NOS proof version is massive. The proof coin has a mirror-like background, frosted design details, and was originally sold in a proof set to collectors. It was never meant to circulate in stores or vending machines. If someone claims their worn, circulated 1975 dime is worth millions, that is almost certainly not accurate. Condition plays a powerful role in coin value. Even a rare coin must be authenticated and graded by professional services before commanding a huge price. A scratched, cleaned, or damaged coin can lose much of its potential value. Serious collectors rely on certification to confirm authenticity and grade. The dream of becoming a billionaire overnight from a single dime is exciting, But realistic expectations are important. Only a few known examples of the 1975 no-S proof dime exist. Because of that extreme rarity, it is considered a modern treasure in U.S. numismatics, but it is not something most people will randomly discover in loose change. It's also important to understand how coin markets work. Prices depend on demand, rarity, historical significance, and condition. When two or more collectors compete for a rare coin at auction, the price can climb dramatically. That competitive energy is what pushes certain coins into six-figure territory. The word liberty itself carries emotional power. For decades, earlier dimes like the Mercury Dime feature a symbolic liberty design rather than president. But by 1975, the design featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt had already been established for nearly 30 years, honoring his leadership and legacy. Many online rumors exaggerate coin values to attract attention. They often suggest that ordinary coins are secretly worth millions. While rare errors and unique pieces can indeed sell for very high prices, these cases are exceptions, not the rule. Knowledge protects collectors from unrealistic expectations. If you truly believe you have a rare 1975 proof dime without the S mint mark, the smartest step is professional authentication. Reputable coin grading companies can examine the coin under magnification and confirm whether it matches the known rare variety. Without certification, buyers will be extremely cautious. The excitement surrounding rare coins is understandable. Coins are small pieces of history that pass through countless hands. The idea that one tiny metal disc could hold enormous value captures the imagination. But separating myth from reality is essential in the world of collecting. A standard 1975 Roosevelt dime in circulated condition is usually worth 10 cents. An uncirculated example, in pristine condition, might bring a small premium from collectors, but it would not approach life-changing money unless it is the extremely rare proof error. Stories claiming that any 1975 Liberty dime can instantly change your fortune are misleading. Only the specific no-S proof variety has achieved extraordinary auction results. Even then, values fluctuate depending on market demand and overall economic conditions. Serious coin collectors spend years studying mint marks, die varieties, strike quality, and preservation. They understand that true rarities are documented, researched, and widely known within the numismatic community. Sudden viral claims often lack that foundation. If your goal is to search for valuable coins, focus on learning about genuine rarities, understanding mint errors, and studying grading standards. Knowledge is far more powerful than hype. The more you learn, the better you can recognize something truly special. It is also wise not to rush into selling any potentially valuable coin without research. If you ever believe you have discovered a rare variety, consult experts, compare certified auction results, and avoid quick offers that seem too good to be true. In the end, the 1975 dime story is a mix of reality and exaggeration. Yes, there exists an extraordinarily rare proof error that is sold for very high prices. No, the average 1975 dime found in circulation is not worth millions. Understanding this balance keeps your collecting journey both exciting and grounded. So before imagining billionaire status overnight, take a closer look at the coin in your hand. Is it a mirror-like proof without an S mint mark? Is it authenticated? If not, enjoy it as a small but meaningful piece of American history. Sometimes the true value of a coin lies not in millions of dollars, but in the fascinating story it carries. The story of the 1982 Liberty One dime coin begins with a powerful truth that many collectors don't realize at first glance. When people hear the word Liberty on a dime, they often imagine an old silver treasure hidden in a drawer, waiting to explode in value. But the 1982 dime is actually part of the Roosevelt dime series, a coin that carries the proud image of Franklin D. Roosevelt on its front. It represents American history, resilience, and legacy, but not every 1982 dime is a silver jackpot. By 1982, dimes in the United States were no longer made of silver. The era of 90% silver dimes had already ended in 1964. So the regular 1982 dime is composed of a copper core layered with nickel. That means if you're holding a normal 1982 dime in your hand today, it does not contain precious silver value. Its power lies not in metal, but in condition and rare minting mistakes. However, this is where the excitement begins. In the world of coin collecting, sometimes a small error can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary prize. The most famous and valuable 1982 dime is the 1982 no-mint mark Roosevelt dime. Normally, coins produced in Philadelphia carry a small P mint mark. But in 1982, some dimes were mistakenly released without that P mark. That tiny missing letter created a collecting sensation. Imagine discovering that the small coin in your pocket has a rare minting error. The 1982 no P dime became highly desirable because it was the first time in U.S. history that a Philadelphia circulating coin accidentally missed its mint mark. That historical mistake instantly transformed certain 1982 dimes into valuable collector pieces. But let's be honest and clear. Even a rare 1982 no P dime does not sell for millions of dollars. Its value depends heavily on condition. A well-preserved example graded in mint state condition can sell for hundreds or even a few $1,000s in exceptional cases. That is impressive for a 10-cent coin, but it is not overnight billionaire money. The real power of coin value comes from rarity plus condition plus demand. If a 1982 dime is heavily worn, scratched, or circulated for decades, its value usually remains just 10 cents. But if it is uncirculated, sharply struck, and free of damage, collectors may pay a strong premium. Coin grading plays a huge role in determining the final price. There are stories online that exaggerate coin values into the millions. These stories create excitement, but they often mix myth with reality. A 1982 dime cannot realistically make someone a billionaire overnight. True multi-million-dollar coins are extremely rare historical pieces, often unique specimens from the 1700s or early 1800s. Still, the 1982 no P dime remains one of the most talked about modern era coins. It reminds collectors that even in modern times, mistakes happen at the mint, and when they do, sharp-eyed collectors are rewarded. That sense of possibility keeps the coin hobby alive and thrilling. Another factor that can increase value is professional grading. Coins certified by respected grading companies and sealed in protective holders tend to command higher prices. Authentication adds trust, and trust adds value. Without certification, it can be difficult to convince buyers that your coin is truly rare. If you believe you have a 1982 dime without a mint mark, the first step is careful examination. Use magnification and proper lighting. Make sure the mint mark area is not simply worn away. A genuine no P example will show no trace of the letter at all, not even faint damage. Collectors also look for coins with full bands on the torch design on the reverse side. Strong detail can increase desirability. Even among rare varieties, the best preserved examples are the ones that bring the highest prices. It is important to understand that the word liberty appears on nearly all U.S. dimes. It does not automatically mean the coin is rare or silver. Many beginners confuse the presence of liberty with antique status. In reality, it is a standard inscription symbolizing American freedom. The thrill of searching through pocket change is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive. Every coin carries the possibility of discovery. While most 1982 dimes are common, the dream of finding a rare error keeps collectors checking every detail carefully. Market demand also changes over time. A coin that sells for a few $100s today might rise or fall depending on collector interest. Values are not fixed forever. They are influenced by auctions, population reports, and overall economic trends. If your goal is investment, knowledge is your greatest weapon. Learn about mint marks, compositions, grading scales, and historical context. The more you understand, the less likely you are to fall for unrealistic promises of overnight wealth. True coin wealth usually comes from patience, long-term collecting, and sometimes sheer luck. Most serious collectors build value gradually, not instantly. The 1982 dime is an exciting piece for era collectors, but it should be viewed with realistic expectations. It is also wise to store coins properly. Keep them in protective holders. Avoid touching surfaces with bare fingers, and store them in a dry environment. Condition preservation can mean the difference between 10 cents and hundreds of dollars. Stories about million-dollar dimes create excitement and attract viewers, but serious collectors focus on verified sales and documented rarity. A coin's value must be proven in the marketplace, not just imagined. If you truly want to find coin that can change your financial life, study early American coinage, rare gold issues, and historically significant mint errors. Those are the categories where record-breaking prices are more likely to appear. The 1982 Liberty Dime may not make you a billionaire overnight, but it represents something powerful. The possibility that even small things can carry hidden value. That sense of discovery is what fuels collectors around the world. So before you spend any 1982 dime, take a closer look. Check for the missing mint mark. Examine its condition. Seek professional advice if necessary. While it may not be a million-dollar miracle, it could still be a valuable piece of modern numismatic history waiting to be recognized.